reasons for success is you practice against good people, because the majority of your time in football is who you practice against. So he goes against a great group every single day, great coaches, great players, and he's grown. It makes him better. So I think he's in a good spot. I think he grew a lot last year in how he finished. He's carried that over into the offseason. He's really established himself as a leader on this team, and proud of him. But what we need to see from him Saturday is just what we've seen in the practice. Take care of the ball, make good decisions. Manage the game. Be opportunistic with his legs when those things present themselves, and just let it rip, man. Let it rip.
Coach, Clemson Georgia is a rivalry that goes way back. Gary Stokan, the CEO of the Peach Bowl, told me that it was an interesting story how this matchup kind of transpired. Dan Radakovich, when he played Georgia in 21 in Charlotte, he said that they wanted to play the game in Atlanta, but they already had a game scheduled for the Aflac kickoff. Gary Stokan said that they would have done a doubleheader if Dan had called him. Figured out a way to get Clemson Georgia playing that game. Can you kind of elaborate on how this all unfolded?
Yeah, ditto there. That's kind of how it all went, I guess. And I think honestly, I wish we played Georgia every year, just because it'd save a lot of money for everybody, especially our fans. Because why do we got it? We've had to go out to A&M. I think we go to LSU in a couple of years. We've tried to always play 10. You better bring your A game type games, plus a top group of 5 type of team, which obviously this year we've got that with about as good as you can find in app. And then we've played a team that's kind of been our formula for a long time. So, these schools are close. There's tradition. They're hard. It's a hard game. This is a tough game, but there's a lot of great history with Clemson, Georgia. I grew up, you knew Clemson, Georgia was going to play each other. It was just one of those games that you wanted to watch as a kid. So I think it's good for our fans. It's good for college football.
You mentioned Carson Beck, called him a Heisman potential candidate. Obviously, you're not going to give away the game plan, but what are the challenges that he presents?
He's just really smart. He has great understanding of their scheme. He knows where everybody is. He's accurate. He's a very accurate guy. And as I said earlier, he picks his spots where he'll use his legs. They do just enough with him in the run game to slow you down just a little. But he finds underneath players. If you leave a check down open, he's going to find him. He knows where he's at, but he doesn't put the ball in jeopardy a whole lot. So just a he's a very good player. Again, he's got a live arm. There's really nothing not to like about the kid. He's a dude. He's a great one.
You mentioned Cade using his legs. How much more comfortable would he be in the zone read game and just having a feel for that?
Yeah, much more. That was an area last year where he needed to grow, and he got the same thing, got better as the season went, but especially first half of the season, he too many TFLs where he didn't make the right decisions. He had one, in a poor decision in a critical situation. So just being decisive within the scheme. And that was something we needed to see from him coming out of the season, and just a little more consistency there. And he's done that. He's been really good. So again, if he'll carry those things to game day, he's going to have a great year. I just think he's poised, his confidence, his understanding of everything going into year 2 with our scheme is, it should show.
Coach, I know you guys practice a lot of your Tigers traditions before the season, make sure everything's in order. What do you coach as far as a successful run down the hill? Are there some key points for coaching that up?
I don't really coach much on run down the hill. The biggest thing we coach up there is, we get behind the rock, let's respect the rock, let's respect the tradition, and we lock up kind of behind the rock, if you will, with the players. and then let's just get down the hill and let's get to work. You know, I mean, there's no real. I mean, you know, to each his own. Get on down the hill. You know, some of them go fast. Some of them will take their time a little bit. Some will jump. But main thing is how we load and unload the buses. How we lock up behind the rock, and that's pretty much it.
The Monday depth chart this year, is that because Georgia just stopped putting one out week one, or what's the reasoning there?
Yeah, I mean, just so y'all would ask, just to make y'all have to dig a little deeper. They got to buy the subscriptions to all of our Tiger websites, and you know, have to get the inside scoop from Larry on who's playing where and who's running out there first. I guess that's it. I don't know. It seems like a new thing.
When's the last time you think you didn't do a week one?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't.
Georgia's lost 2 games in the past 3 seasons, I guess. Have you looked at those losses? And
Yeah.
What did they, I guess, what did Alabama do?
It was a short list. Well, I mean, Alabama just they won the line of scrimmage, and they made a few more competitive plays. And if you look at the SEC championship game, they had the critical turnover. It's the difference in the game. I mean, you know, and the crazy thing is you know, the critical turnover was a reverse, and it's fixing to go. It was had it up. They had it. But just the exchange wasn't clean. Balls on the ground. Bam! They come up with it inside the 10 or wherever it was, and it's the difference in the game. What was it, 27, 24? Is that what the score was? So, yeah, it's just a couple of plays. They made the 2 more plays that you got to make to beat an opponent like this. You know, that's what it comes down to. I mean, 2 plays. I mean, the last time we played them, it was 1 play. And again, there's a lot of plays that you could love to get back on both sides, but when it came down to it, there was 1 play that decided the game. Pick 6.
Obviously, ball security was an issue for you guys last year. I mean, is there anything you can see in practice that gives you faith it's going to be better, or you really just have to see them play?
Well, hopefully, I think we're a little more mature, a little more experienced. I mean, we've worked really, really hard at it, just like we did last year. And, you know, so just, I guess, hopefully just the maturity and the experience factor will show up for us. I mean, you know, that's definitely an area that you know, that we have to be better. You know, we were really, really poor in ball security last year. And not only, you know, the turnovers, but where they happened were just catastrophic. I mean, you're talking, a lot of them were in the red zone. And you put drives together and you get no points, and that's just, it's so costly. And it's deflating, you know, it's hard to overcome those things. So just way too many, and hopefully when this season is over, that's an area that we're much improved, and if we are, we'll have a better year.
Coach, with this game being quote-unquote a neutral site, what are you expecting in terms of orange versus red in the crowd, and what are you preparing for the atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the ticket breakdown is. I don't know how that all worked. I don't know if there was backdoor funneling to the Georgia fans. I have no idea. But you know, Clemson will have a ton of fans there. Georgia obviously have a ton of fans there. It'll be an awesome environment. It'll be a great crowd, and we've tried to prepare our guys as much as you possibly can. Again, this is, you know, we're not getting to open at home, you know, where you got, you know, just, you know what you can expect on the offensive side. It's going to be loud right out of the gate. So, and then you're playing you know, I mean, this is a great defense. It's one of the top defenses in the country, and they do a lot of movement. There's a lot of pressures. There's a lot of, you know, stemming and stuff like that. And so, being able to be on the same page, catch that movement with your cadence, especially when you have a silent cadence, you know, those are challenges when you have a ton of noise. So you have to practice that. You got to really work hard on that. And so, you know, that's why you try to create as much unrealistic noise in practice as you can, you know, in your blitz periods, in your run periods and run fits and protections with, you know, again, all the movement that they don't just line up. Sometimes they do, but most of the time they're moving. So being able to communicate, be on the same page, and again, execute your cadence in that environment is always a challenge. I mean, it's what you do, but when you haven't played in a while, that's something that certainly you worry about going into a game like this. So you try to prepare the best you can.
Is it kind of crazy that in your career, most of your career at Clemson's head coach, that most of the games you start the season with have been on the road or neutral sites?
Yeah, that sounds like an AD problem. At GrahamNeff.com. I don't think we've had a home opener since 19, maybe. So, and then not only that, I mean, you look around the country and you go, boy, it'd be nice to maybe have a little, I remember, I think I told y'all, Coach Spurrier called me one time. We both got beat and matter of fact, it was the Georgia game. We played Georgia in 14, and he called me on that. And I think they played Texas A&M and just got boat raced the whole game, like all 4 quarters. And it's this classic Spurrier. I still got the voicemail, and he calls me, and he's just like, and then I call him back, and he's just like, yeah, I don't know why we schedule these games. I tell you, I just don't know. We go play that team over here down the road. They get a little win. Everybody's happy. Work out some of them problems, because you know there's gonna be some problems. Yeah, I don't know why we schedule these games like this right out of the gate, And he says, yeah, but hey, look, I'm just calling you. Yeah, it looked like y'all got your ass kicked for 1 quarter. We got ours kicked for 4 quarters, but hey, just wanted to tell you, hey, just keep your head up. A long season ahead. We'll keep moving. Classic Spurrier, and I always appreciated that about him. Because he has this persona, but he really was a good dude. He's still a good dude, and just very caring, and I think he took pride in maybe helping mentor me a little bit and try to teach me, and he called me several times over his career here to just, and even to this day, to just give me his little insight or a pick me up, or even when they beat us. I can't remember, they beat us, I think, in 13, and we had like 6 turnovers. And he's like, I tell you, yeah, y'all beat everybody. Y'all just can't hold on that ball when y'all play us. I don't know what it is, And so he always had his way of trying to encourage it, but I remember that specifically. So maybe one of these days we'll have one of them little openers. We can make some mistakes and still win and go get better. But this ain't one of them. You make mistakes in this one, you get beat. That's one thing I can say about Georgia. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They seldom beat themselves. They're a well-coached team, and we'll have our hands full. But yeah, one of these days we'll get a home game. Well, I think we got a home game next year. But we got another one of them easy ones. I think we got LSU right here. So we'll run it back this time next year in the Valley. But it will be nice to finally have a game. At least we're not on Monday night. I think we went 2 years in a row on the road Monday night. So that's a completely quirky deal. And you come back and play again on Saturday. So it's good to play on Saturday. That's for sure.
Talking on your radio show, it was interesting about the green dot players on defense and how is it that 2 of them can't be on the field at the same time?
Yeah,
you have other helmets
or offense.
Yeah,
you can't have 2 green dot people on the field at the same time. They might give you a pass on special teams if you got your 2 Mike backers that have the green dot. If they're on kickoff, they might give you a pass on that. I don't think you're supposed to, but I'm not sure they're hunting that. But certainly on offense and defense, you can't have the running back with a green dot and the quarterback with the green dot, or an offensive lineman with the green dot and the quarterback with the green dot. That's the rule.
Is there a concern on defense at all in terms of personnel not being able to have these 2 linebackers on the field together, or not really?
No.
How do you feel about the depth at interior defensive tackles?
Good. I mean, we've got 3 really, really good veteran players, right there that I kind of look at all 3 of them as starters. I think they'll play that way in Cape and Peyton and Trey. And then we got some talented guys behind them that they gotta by the end of the year they gotta be dudes for us. Need them to be dudes Saturday, and hopefully we'll see that. But Steph Island is a very talented young player. Burley's a very talented young player. So we really like those guys a lot and what they bring to the table. And then we signed Heaven, we signed Champ. So it's a good group of young guys that we recruited to come in here and help us. But thankfully, we don't need any of them to run out there first right now. We need them to just be good depth guys, and we'll lean on those first 3 guys to set the tone.
I can't imagine how excited Sammy Brown is for this game. I imagine he'll start on special teams. How have you seen the learning curve go for him since January?
It's been good. I mean, you could tell in the spring. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot on him. I think more scheme than probably what he's had to deal with. And again, that's just. I mean, if you really watched his career, he played about every snap, of offense and defense. So it's not like he just played defense and spent his whole time preparing for defense. I mean, he had to know offense too, and a lot of things. So I think there was a lot thrown at him purposely this spring to get him ready. Physically, he was ready to go the day he got here. I mean, he's one of the freakiest dudes to walk in the door. I mean, big, strong, fast, and jump. I mean, he's near the top in about every category. He's state wrestling champ, state lifting champ, football, you name it. I mean, he's just a winner and a great kid, but it's really slowed down for him. He's still got, still got a learning curve to go, but it's really slowed down. He put the work in from the spring, and when he came out of spring on what he had to do to get better this fall camp, and he's done that. So he's put himself in a good spot to help us and be a backup there. And I would say the same thing that I just said about our young D tackles. Hopefully it's a situation we can, have a little good fortune this year with some key guys staying healthy like Barrett and Wood has, to where we can bring him at a good pace. Because I think he's just going to get better and better and better.
Got about 90 more seconds before we need to transition to West Goodwin if anybody has one more question.
Did you miss the live interaction with your fans last night?
I was hoping you would call in. I checked for your text. I didn't see it. That was good. It was good. It was good to get back going, and some good questions. Hopefully, we'll be able to cover more topics and get more done, and have more than 2 or 3 people that call in. Still love Becky. Shout out to Becky, we still love her.
Ball screens.
People think that the Tyler call from last year, led to the decision not to take calls. What was just behind the decision? Well,
actually, and that's what people will assume, and that was brought up in all the stuff. But actually, internally, they've been talking about it for a while to make a change to the format and really look at what most other people were doing, being able to take more questions, being able to talk more ball, being able to, not just have 2 or 3 people that you spend the evening talking to, but that certainly didn't help the calls, that's for sure. But it's all good, man. Tyler's a great Clemson man, and always will be.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.